Hello, I'm Trevor Emdon, and I'm going to talk to you in this video on the topic of how to manifest a specific person. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's a question that comes up a lot. Now, I'm going to tell you some maybe hard to hear truths about how to manifest a specific person first, and then I'm going to tell you what you actually need to do that will actually work. So stick with me. Okay, so let's paint a scenario. Let's suppose that you are in love with somebody called Joe. I've chosen that name because that can be any gender, all right? So maybe you know Joe from work, or you know Joe socially, and maybe, just for the sake of our example, Joe is not aware of your feelings, okay? So you are doing whatever you feel is necessary to manifest Joe falling in love with you, wanting to be with you, and so on. Now, just imagine that you're Joe. Now, Joe may have a relationship, a family, I don't know, we could speculate. You probably know. Now imagine that your manifestation powers do work, and that Joe, I'm going to say herself, I'm going to have to use a gender here. So Joe finds herself somehow drawn mysteriously away from her partner, away from her family, away from her kids, to be with you. And eventually it all works, and her family is in tatters, but she can't help herself because you've done some hocus pocus, and she's under your spell, as it were. Now, clearly that can't work. Clearly, even if it did, you wouldn't want it to. Joe has free will too. So I know I've made a potentially very exaggerated story there, because the reality could well be that Joe is free and available. Now, there is, of course, a chance that if Joe is free and available, that she might, or he might, fall for you, just like relationships happen all the time. But now let's go back to what you're doing, okay? Because in order to perceive that you are in need of Joe, certain things have to be going on in your mind, and this is not going to make the law of attraction or any kind of manifestation process work. In fact, it's not even going to work at a psychological level, and I hate to break that to you, I hate to burst that bubble, but I think that it's only fair, and I'm sure that I'll get comments, people say, well, it worked for me, and I disagree, and that's absolutely fine, and I'm really pleased and happy for you if that happened. But I think for the majority of people, this won't work, and here's why. The first instruction, and I've seen many videos on this, and read books and articles about it, that in any manifestation teaching that seems to be given is raise your vibration. Now, first of all, I don't think any of us really know quite how to raise our vibration. But in general, I think we'd probably agree that that means being happy and joyful and feeling full of life and love and happy. What else could be the meaning of raise your vibration? And then you would say to me, well, I would feel all those things if Joe was in my life. Like, duh. So we're already on the horns of a dilemma, because you are now in a position where you're thinking, well, the missing thing in my life is Joe. If I had Joe in my life would be complete. I'd be happy, I'd be joyful, my vibrations would indeed be raised. But as it is, I can't even get Joe to pay me any attention. I can't get Joe to look at me across a crowded room. So what am I to do? So there is some truth in the raise your vibration thing. But now let's have a more objective look at Joe, or whoever the object of your desire is. Okay? What you are perceiving in Joe, whatever qualities you see in her or him, are things that you feel if Joe was with you, in love with you, you would be complete. Now, I was there. I used to be in this dilemma over relationships for many years. I've been very happily married since 2006. But that only was possible after I figured this out. What you're perceiving in Joe is, if he or she was with me, I'd feel complete, because you in some way feel incomplete. Now, if you get two people in a relationship who feel incomplete, their agenda, each of them is effectively saying to the other, you must fulfill me, you must fill me up. Now, you can imagine what happens. Two half-empty people, each trying to fill the other up, all they end up doing, or all one of them will end up doing for sure, is emptying themselves for the benefit of the other, until one becomes completely hollow and depressed, and the other one then doesn't know what's gone wrong, because it's like, but you were lovely when I met you, and we complimented each other. And this happens a lot in relationships. You see it all the time. But if you're looking at someone like Joe, you probably see someone who is self-assured, who feels comfortable in their own skin in some way, and that's what's attractive. So here's what you actually need to do, because I promised I'd tell you that. You need to manifest not Joe, because Joe's life is Joe's life. You need to manifest self-love. And actually, that's easy because you were born with it. You don't see or encounter unhappy babies. I know they get unhappy when they're wet or cold or hungry, but those needs, they know how to get them taken care of, and then they're happy again, and they gurgle and play with their toes or whatever babies do. But naturally, we are all born happy, and that doesn't leave you. It's just that we overcloud our own thinking with comparisons, for example. But I'm not as good looking as so and so. I'm not as wealthy as such and such. I'm not as athletic as the other guys in my peer group. Do you see what I mean? So by comparing ourselves with others, instead of saying, you know what, I'm unique and I'm fine as I am. We all are different. In fact, if you take that to its extreme, imagine if people were clones of each other. That would be awful. Who would you fall in love with? Everybody would be exactly the same. Right? What we fall in love with when we fall in love with people is their differences, is their quirks and their idiosyncrasies. You know, I really hate the phrase nobody's perfect, because I think we're probably all perfect. We're just all different. Right? So in a short video like this, I can't take you through all the steps, but what you need to manifest, or really what you need to let go of, is all the self-doubt, which will leave you with, you know what, I'm okay. And that's what I did, actually, before I met my wife in 2006. From 2001 to 2006, and obviously in 2001 I had no idea I was going to meet my lovely wife in 2006. In fact, back then I didn't even think I would ever get married again. But what I did was I realized that if I was ever going to have any kind of successful relationship, what I needed to do was to get to know and like and even love, not in a romantic way, but to be comfortable and happy with the person that I was going to go to bed with and wake up with every day of my life for as long as I live. And that's myself, right? So that's what I did. I spent time getting to know myself, just simple, silly things like what kind of TV programs do I like to watch and what do I not want to watch. I was on my own. There was just me and a cat at the time, right? So, and he didn't have any say in what TV I watched. Just got me enslaved to feeding, and that was all. But it was simple things like that. What color would I like to paint the walls of my home? What time do I want to go to bed? When do I actually feel tired? What kind of diet do I really want? All the simple things that I wanted to do that had nothing to do with somebody else being in my life. Then when I finally did meet somebody, turned out to be my wife, my attitude was, I really like this woman. I really, really like this woman. I could see myself spending the rest of my life with this woman. But if she says no, I mean, now it would be devastating, but back then, if she said no, my attitude would have been, well, that's a pity, because you, madam, just missed out on a nice guy. So my confidence was already there, whereas it hadn't been before. That's what you need to manifest. Now, it took me a few years. It might only take you a few hours. But that's what makes people attractive. Oh, and by the way, when you get to that point, you may lose interest in Joe. Because what you're actually looking at, when you look at someone, you say, I want that person, and they don't seem to be available or interested in me, is your own unfulfilled needs. When you fill them yourself, then you'll find yourself naturally drawn to probably different people, and different people naturally will be drawn to you. You won't have to be trying to manifest them. Now, I'm sorry if that goes against what you want to hear. I know that you want somebody to say, hey, all you've got to do is this, this, and this, and the person of your dreams will come knocking at your door. But you can't decide for someone else. And also, as long as you are needy, even if they did show up in your life, the relationship is probably not going to do well, because you're putting all that agenda on them as if it's their job to make you feel good. I know if Joe was in my life, I'd feel fantastic. And the truth is, you don't know that, and you almost certainly wouldn't. You would for a while, you'd be euphoric. But as things settle, you would come to realize, but I'm still me. Why does Joe like me when I'm so fill in the blank? I've been there. So I hope this has been helpful. Now, if you want more on the subject of manifesting, and this is the truth about manifesting, because it does work, but not in the way that it's generally taught. So you can either follow the way that it's generally taught, and good luck, because I tried that for 30 years, not just with romance, but with everything, money, circumstances, everything. And I didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I realized there's some truth in it, and I immersed myself in it. I trained to teach it. So if you would like some more understanding of how manifesting really, really works, then I'm going to put a link in the description, and hopefully also it should be on the screen, I think this side, so that you can get, just as a thank you for watching this video, a 50% discount coupon from my flagship program, Manifesting Demystified. So just click the link. It'll either be up there, and there'll definitely be one in the description below, and get the coupon. Now, I don't know when you'll be watching this video. That coupon isn't designed to last forever. So do it now, because it will eventually expire. So I hope that's been helpful. I know it might be a bit of a wake-up call, but I felt I had to address this subject because the question comes up so often. So thank you for watching. Grab yourself the coupon, and I will see you next time on this channel or elsewhere. I'm Trevor Emdon. See you soon. Bye bye.